Guys, welcome back to part 2 of Box to Box. In part 1, we had the ever passionate DT talking about his beloved Arsenal. And now in part 2, we've got a special guest, somebody I've known personally for the last couple of years. It hates me to say this, but he's a Liverpool fan, which is why we've called him on. His journey has been crazy from the YouTube scene, and now he works for Sky Sports, ESPN, TalkSport. Let me introduce you to none other than Ade Oladipo. Ade, how are you doing, my friend?
Dude, that was one hell of an intro. I love it. I feel good. Thank you so much. I'll pay you later for that intro.
Ade, man, I've known you for a good couple of years now. And before I want to talk about Liverpool, we're here at the Box to Box show where we talk football. Just want a little bit about your journey so far. We started off on the YouTube scene together. We were in the boxing scene together, interviewing the likes of Anthony Joshua and all these fighters that were coming up at that time. You're now on Sky Sports interviewing football stars, boxing stars and everything else. Just talk to me about this journey.
Yeah, it's been a crazy one, but a fun one. Obviously, like you say, we met, I think, 5-6 years ago, both doing exactly the same thing, covering boxing, a sport that we love. We won't talk about boxing today, but a sport that we love. Maybe not so much right now, but it's a sport that we do love. And that journey of talking to fighters and interviewing, it's gave me the experience to try and get to these bigger channels, these bigger platforms, right? That was always the dream when I started out. I went to Africa. I didn't really have the credentials, I thought anyway, to get a good job here. So I went to Africa. I got the ESPN Africa role, which was fantastic. And then that gives you the confidence to come back to London and then try and apply for some of these bigger jobs. And then obviously Sky. But with Sky, the good thing about Sky, I guess, is they open doors for other channels. Once you have Sky in your CV, then you can knock on the door to CNN and TalkSport, and you can get in and do those stuff. So, look, it's fun because obviously you get to interview the people. Me and you have hassled and haggled for these interviews with these stars. It's good that they have to wait for you now. That's the only good thing. But I still I've got my own YouTube channel. That's still my passion. As much as I do those stuff, the passion is still the YouTube channel. I feel like I can be who I want to be and say what I want to say when I sit on my green chair. But no doubt, I'm very excited about what the future holds in journalism.
Well, talking of football, as we said earlier, you are a Liverpool fan. Congratulations. So I just want to ask how it feels to be a Liverpool fan at the moment with all the success they've had this season.
It feels good, especially for me. I'm an older Liverpool fan. I'm 39. So I've been through the times of Ouney's United dominating my childhood, and it's been awful. And then Arsenal come in, and then Chelsea with the Roman Abramovich money come, and then City as well with Guardiola, and before that with the likes of Mancini. So I felt that we were never going to get there. I felt that we were just too far away. We were always signing decent players that would then almost leapfrog and go to bigger clubs. So it feels good now to be in a team which has superstars, but more importantly, superstars that want to stay. There is no rumours about Salah going to Madrid or Van Dijk going to Barcelona. And that's all we've been for the last few years. We've got now a manager that I think is probably, with Guardiola, the best 2 managers in the world. And we've got players that I think are right now at their prime. You look at other teams and you speak about leaders and sort of players at the right age. I think Liverpool have leaders. We've got players that are at the right age, 28, 29. Some young talent coming through as well, like the likes of Trent Alexander-Arnold. And I think this team's built to do well for the next 2 or 3 seasons. I'm not going to say we're going to do what United did and dominate for 20 years. I don't think that exists anymore. But if Liverpool don't win another Premier League or another FA Cup or a Champions League with this group of players, I think it's a failure.
Ade, just talking about this season, it's been such a success for you guys. Last year, you won the Champions League. This year, you've won the league. But going forward, how can Liverpool improve? I know that's hard to say because you've broken so many records this year as well.
Yeah.
But as a fan, as somebody who's, you said, gone through that journey of seeing all that disappointment, now you see the success. How can Liverpool improve next season?
I think it's keeping these nucleus of players happy, keeping them excited, setting targets and boundaries. I think one thing that we've been accused of this season is not going full hog for every trophy. And that's true, right? We didn't really put our strongest team out in the FA Cup. We played kids against Aston Villa. If you remember that, when we lost 6-0, when we'd try and win the World Club Cup, which we did. But I think Liverpool needs to kind of challenge on all fronts. That's one thing City do. City go for everything, and which is why City this season, believe it or not, could win the treble, which is crazy, right? Last season, they'd done the same thing. So I think this team have got to go for everything. There are no excuses. We've got to build the squad, maybe add 1 or 2 more. I do think that we've got a fantastic front three, but the drop-off is a big one when one of those two get injured or they get rested. I don't think Origi's up for it. I don't think Minamino is going to be that guy. And at the back, I mean, look, everyone's struggling at the back, but Dejan Lovren gives me heart attack when he comes on. I'm not joking. I have palpitations when he comes on. So get rid of him. Bring in another centre-back to challenge Gomez and Matip. But again, I do think always going to be improvements. Man United are going to be strong, especially if they can keep Pogba. They look frightening right now, United do. They really do. City are going to spend money. We're going to talk about that, I guess, in a bit. They're going to spend more money. Chelsea have invested with the likes of Timo Werner coming in. So it's not going to be easy. So Liverpool can't rest on their laurels. We've got to invest. We've not done that in the last sort of 2 transfer windows. We haven't bought much in. So I think we need to kind of spend a bit of money and really push on again.
How do you sort of rate the performance since coming back from lockdown from Liverpool?
It's been crap. Let's be honest. Let's not mix our words. It's not been the greatest at all. But it must be difficult knowing that you're only 1 win away, which we were really, a couple of wins away from winning the title. They've done that. I mean, what's the aim now? A lot of people were talking about chasing that 100 points. Maybe. I think if we were unbeaten, if we didn't get beat by Watford sort of prior to the lockdown, maybe that would have been the aim, right? Stay unbeaten. But it's the what now? Like, what's the aim? What's the point? You're so far in front. You've won it. Everyone's been drinking. I know they say they haven't been drinking, but I know for a fact a few of the boys have been drinking. So it must be difficult. I just hope that we've got big games coming up against Chelsea and I think Arsenal as well. I hope that we can just make sure that we put out a good performance against them, just because we're going to be a big factor when it comes to Champions League places. And I hope that we can obviously just not throw the towel in. I think we need to kind of really put a good performance out against the big boys.
I think the biggest catalyst to your success has been Jurgen Klopp. You know, when he first came in, you know, there were certain fans from other big clubs were gutted that they never got him because he left such a name at Dortmund. He was in the final as well in Champions League. But just talk to me about him as a manager, what he's done for Liverpool. Initially, it was a bit of a rocky road, but fans could see what he was trying to do, implement his style of football. And now we see that in fruition. We see that style of football that seems to be taking Europe by surprise. Just talk to me about Jurgen Klopp and what he's done to Liverpool Football Club.
Ouney, he is God. He is God to me. I mean, literally, I can't speak highly enough of him. And funny thing is, when he came, there were still question marks. That was that heavy metal football that he spoke about, but it was almost like win one, lose one, right? Games were like 4-3, 5-2. We weren't quite sure that he understood. But what I like that he's done, the most important thing he's done is got rid of the crap. And he does that every single season. He'll sort of weed out the rubbish. And he's done that. There's players that have just left the club that everyone thought maybe should have stayed, like Daniel Sturridge, get an extension. No, not good enough. Go. Moreno, left back, not good enough. Go. Sacco, go. The goalkeepers, Karius, Mignolet. He seems to cite a problem and fix it straight away, which is the main thing. I just think he's passionate, and that's what you want to see from a manager. As a fan, personally, I want to see the manager showing that passion on the touchline. I don't know if you guys remember 2 seasons ago when we scored against Everton, he ran on the pitch and hugged the goalkeeper. I love it. I love when he goes to the cop and fist pumps to the cop. I mean, he's everything you want in a manager that loves the game. He's extended his contract as well, which is so important. He's become more important than the players, and Liverpool have always had players that were more important than the manager. You think of players like Suarez and before that, Gerrard, and all these players were more important. Now, he's bigger than all of those. If any player goes, I'm so confident that Jurgen Klopp will be able to replace them like he did Coutinho. I can't speak highly enough of him. He's fantastic. And I just pray to God that he stays. I mean, I want him to be put in a kind of ice machine so he doesn't age. So he just stays the same age forever and doesn't get old and doesn't get stressed. Because the Premier League will kill you. The Premier League does stress you out as a manager. And I just wonder if he might, after the 4 years are up, decide to go to Germany and become the national manager. I hope he stays forever. There's been a lot of talk about Steven Gerrard replacing. No, I don't want Steven Gerrard to replace him. I want Jurgen Klopp to stay forever. He's that good.
With the transfer window opening soon, do you think that that's going to cause some stress to where he can sort of get those improvements?
Yeah, especially now with what's happened and no one being able to spend big money. Obviously, you've got the bigger clubs that have massively rich owners able to spend, but Liverpool are going to struggle. We were supposed to. Timo Werner was a done deal. I know that was a done deal behind the scenes. And when it comes to sort of paying up, we couldn't afford it. So I think he might have to get rid of a few before he brings anyone in. And that's the problem, because City are going to go big. United will definitely go big again. And Chelsea will go big. So Liverpool almost have to rely on what we've got now. In saying that, what we've got now is so good. I just feel like when it comes to squad depth, we're behind. And I feel like it's going to be extra pressure to almost find a gem from somewhere. Let's not forget, when we brought Salah in, he wasn't a superstar. Mane wasn't a superstar. So I think we might have to kind of find those players again. And I felt that Liverpool were beyond that now. I felt Liverpool were able to go out there. I mean, look, this might sound dumb, but there was some silly rumours going around about Mbappe. Now, that was never going to happen, but that's where Liverpool were getting to, where we were starting to kind of be linked with those type of players. I don't want us to go to the bargain basement again and hope that we can turn these players into superstars. I want superstars to come to the club. I want us to go for Kevin De Bruyne. Why can't we bid for Kevin De Bruyne from City? Why can't we break the bank? Why can't we go for Paul Pogba? I want that kind of transfers at Liverpool.
Talking about that then, Ade, just going forward from that, there's not many positions that you can improve in. But when I look at certain fans I speak to, I know quite a lot of Liverpool fans, they say maybe the midfield could do with, strengthening up a little bit. People didn't think Jordan Henderson would become this player that he's become this season. Just talk to me about what positions Liverpool might need to improve in for next season.
Yeah, I'm okay with the midfield. Look, we might not have a silky midfielder that does stepovers and does all the things that Coutinho used to do or Bruno Fernandes does now, but there's more than one way to skin a cat. Our midfield is our engine, and it allows Salah, Firmino and Mane to almost play with the ball up front. I mean, I look at our midfield and I like Gini. I think Gini's fantastic. I think Fabinho is the best defensive midfielder on his day in the world. And I think Henderson, like you say, is a captain. He will do anything for you on the pitch. We probably need to add some depth in that midfield. Again, once one of those guys are injured, the fall off is quite big. But Keita's coming through. James Milner's still got legs. I think we struggle up front. I think my concern, again, is if Mane gets injured, who fills that space? Okay. There is a young kid called Ryan Brewster that's on loan at Swansea right now. The hope was he was going to be something like a Mason Greenwood that you guys have got, come through and perform. He had a few chances, didn't really shine. That's why he's gone on loan. Harvey Elliott's there, another youngster. But again, that drop-off is too big for me. If you want to compete for Champions League and the Premier League again, we're going to need a big player. And that's why I think the Timo Werner one hurt Liverpool fans a lot, because he was that guy that was almost in the middle between Origi and a Salah or Firmino. I would love to see Coutinho back, personally. I think Coutinho, giving Firmino a run for his money, I think Firmino is too comfortable, because there is no one like Firmino at the club. So he knows that when he's on Son, he plays. And I think he's too comfortable in the position. I'd like to see Coutinho come back, give Jurgen Klopp a headache, and almost force Firmino to step up another gear. Firmino hasn't scored at Anfield in I don't know how long. And again, he's just too comfortable. A striker should be scoring goals, and he doesn't do that right now.
I was actually just going to come to that point about Firmino. Do you feel like, I wouldn't call him the weakest link, but do you feel like...
easy. Whoa, 1 second. No. 1 second, weakest link.
Ade, let me finish for the love of God. I mean, the weakest link in regards to your front three. Like you said, there could be a signing to sort of give him a better challenge. Maybe he's got nobody to challenge him, so that's why he's not scored, or whatever the reason might be. I don't know. But do you feel like from the top three that he's that weakest link?
It's hard to say weakest link, because I think he is that good. But I almost feel like he's the glue that kind of puts everything together. And I feel like stats won't do him justice. If you're the type of football fan that just doesn't watch a game and just reads a piece of paper and looks at stats, it's not going to tell the full story of the game. He does so much in a game for Liverpool, and he kind of puts everything together. But again, I just think he needs some competition. He's almost guaranteed a starting spot. And I don't think any player should be that comfortable to know they're guaranteed a starting spot. I think a bit of competition for him could only boost his game, right? I mean, if you get Firmino scoring goals, I mean, you've got the ultimate number 9 for me. But right now he's in a position where he does everything but score goals. And it just doesn't sit well with me as a striker. Again, we've got Salah and Mane scoring the goals. But I think if Firmino could chip in sort of 15, 20 goals a season as well, then I think that front three is the best front three in the world. I really do.
Ade, I give you 200 million. What one player would you buy with that 200 million?
Kylian Mbappe right now. Right now. I think that guy, I mean, he's only 22. I mean, you think about how highly we think of like the likes of Marcus Rashford, who's the same age. The gap, and no disrespect, the gap between those two is massive. Mbappe is a superstar. I mean, you know he's a superstar when he plays on a team with Neymar and he gets more plaudits than Neymar. That's how good he is. So yeah, Mbappe, everyone can go. The whole front three can go if we get Mbappe. I think he's that good.
The news that I want to talk to you about from today, the Man City ban has been overturned. What are your thoughts on that? And do you think that it's going to have an effect sort of on football in general, you know, sort of what people think they can almost get away with?
Not surprised. UEFA has no backbone at all. A weak organisation that really does nothing for football. Look, financial fair play was there, and I can understand why it was put in there. It was almost a case of, okay, you can only spend what you make, which makes sense. But if you've got multi-billionaire owners that are comfortable to spend, let them spend. There seems to be an issue in football where there's this hierarchy of football clubs that don't want anyone else to catch them. I mean, you look at all the clubs around Europe, the same three big teams have been the same three big teams for 20, 30 years. And I think the only way to catch them is to go and spend crazy. And that's what City have done. I just feel like UEFA have been undermined a bit here by City going to the Court of Arbitration. And it makes me seem like financial fair play now should just be thrown away, because it means that everyone now can go to the Court of Arbitration and get it overturned. I mean, if you're Chelsea, you're going to be livid because they broke it and they were given a transfer ban. City have just been given a slap on the wrist and fined 9 million, which is almost the equivalent of me being fined 50 pence. It means absolutely nothing. But I do feel like the only way to bridge the gap between a medium team and a giant team is to spend crazy. And I think that's what City have done. It's their money. The owners are trillionaires. What's the problem? I don't see why everyone's so upset about it.
Ade, I just want to move down to the bottom of the league. The relegation battle is really hotting up. We know Norwich got relegated the other day. But there's 4 teams that there or thereabouts that can get relegated. Talk to me about who you think would get relegated this season.
Oh, it's tough, right? I mean, you only got 3 games left. So you really, at this stage, you want points on the board. Bournemouth and Villa are the ones that are in those positions, tough positions. And then you got Watford and West Ham. But I honestly, it's so tough. I think the thing that helps Watford right now in the position they're in, yes, they're 3 points in front, but they've also got a bit of goal difference. So right now, that's almost like 4 points.
It is.
But I look at the run-in, and I look at who Villa have got to play. I read it down here. Villa have got Everton, Arsenal, and West Ham. You could see them getting something from that. When I look at Watford have got West Ham, City, who, let's be honest, City could put 10 past them, and Arsenal. It's going to be tough. It really is. Watford have got West Ham next, and you can almost see there being like a gentleman handshake saying, let's just play a draw here, lads. Let's just play a draw. Let's just be okay with each other and move on. But honestly, right now, I think it's points on the board, and I think it will be Villa and Bournemouth that go down. And it's a shame, especially for Villa. I mean, they've spent a hella amount of money in the summer hoping not to be in this position, right? They wanted to be somewhere where Sheffield United are challenging for Europe. And my scare for Villa is that if they do go down, they lose everyone. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people have been talking about Jack Grealish. It won't just be Jack Grealish leaving. Tyrone Mings will probably go as well. I mean, this guy's just going to the England squad. He doesn't want to stay in the Championship. He can't afford to stay in the Championship. So they may be in trouble. For Bournemouth, I think Eddie Howe's done such an amazing job for the last 4 or 5 years. I mean, the fact that they're even in the Premier League, considering what they spend, is surprising. So it's a shame for him. I think he'll get a bigger club as well. I think Eddie Howe's a fantastic manager, a Premier League manager as well. And if they go down, I'll be surprised if they keep him. But I honestly, I don't know. I mean, hedge your bets anywhere. But I would say that Bournemouth and Villa are the ones to join Norwich. And again, Norwich is a shame. Norwich play beautiful football, but it's not about beautiful football. It's points on the board. Daniel Farke's done a good job down there. But again, it's not about beautiful football, unfortunately, not in this league.
I was just going to touch on that. It's not about beautiful football. You see Bournemouth, what they've done over the last couple of years. They've established themselves as a Premier League team, like you said. But the Premier League is ruthless. We know that. You can play beautiful football for the whole season and still get relegated. Where's our right balance in between, playing the football? What do you need to do to get that balance right?
You almost, and I think he got a lot of criticism for his time in the Premier League. You almost got to try to set up like the way Sam Allardyce does. You've almost got to be more concerned about setting your defence up rather than playing beautiful football and trying to score as many goals as you can. It's about not conceding. And that's what Sam Allardyce and Tony Pulis done for years, and they got criticised for it. Set up a strong defence. Like, how many times did we laugh and say things like, Messi needs to prove it against Stoke in January? Like it was that running topic. Like, oh, can Messi do it against Stoke in January? I mean, it doesn't even make sense. But that's how good he set up with Shawcross and Hoof at the back. You've got to be strong defensive in this league. You've got to be. You can buy all the attacking talent you want. If you're not strong defensive, it's not going to matter. And we spoke about Jurgen Klopp earlier, and Jurgen Klopp realised that as well. This wasn't strong enough at the back. Didn't have a good goalkeeper in Mignolet or Karius. Didn't have good centre-backs as well. Skirtle, Lovren, Sacco. Change that. Really, it's the same lot going forward, really, but change the defence. And now Liverpool are going on. And I think you've just got to be defensively strong. And Norwich conceded way too much. Villa conceded way too much. Injuries with their goalkeeper. Brought in Pepe Reina. That didn't help. Unfortunately, it looks like they're going to get relegated as well.
Well, moving up the table, looking at the battle for the third and fourth spots, how do you see it going? It's close at the moment. How do you see it actually ending?
What a race this is, honestly. Before the lockdown, I thought hook, line and sinker, Leicester had got it. Yeah. I thought it was going to be like Liverpool, City, Leicester, and one of Chelsea, Wolves, and United. But what United have done, and it hurts me to say it, trust me, this isn't easy. I'm doing this through gritted teeth. What United have done in the last 4 or 5 months, even prior to lockdown, has just been incredible. I was waiting to see how Fernandes and Pogba were going to line up with each other, and it's just, it hurts me to say it's fantastic. What they're doing is fantastic. But I do wonder if that Southampton result is going to hurt them come end of the season. I mean, they were so close to moving into third spot, and now they sit fifth. Leicester have the easier running. I know they're not playing good right now, but they have got, I think they've got, sorry, I've written it down actually. Leicester got Sheffield United, Spurs, and then United. That game's going to be big. Chelsea are in trouble. Chelsea have got Wolves, Liverpool, and United. I mean, Chelsea could get no points from that. So I think Chelsea are going to get put to the side, and I think it's going to be down between Leicester and United, and I think it's going to come down to that final game between Leicester and United. I don't want to discount Wolves, because I can see a lot of these clubs, so Leicester, Chelsea, United, taking points of each other, and Wolves just picking up points in the last 3 games. But I think it's going to be Leicester United, and it's a massive game for United. I think if United don't make Champions League, Paul Pogba doesn't stay. If they make Champions League, Paul Pogba not only stays, but they invest a bit more money as well. So United have to make it. Leicester don't. My money's on United, unfortunately, making Champions League football. United scare me. I can't lie, guys. The United scare the hell out of me right now. I think they're a centre-back and a top striker away, and I think they know that. Yeah. And if United spend 150 million in the summer, I don't know. They might be back. Ollie at the wheel might not sound too bad after all.
The actual problem with the COVID-19 that's happened with football is I'm not sure if a lot of teams are going to spend money. I'm not sure if they have the money to spend. You spoke about Liverpool earlier. If Liverpool have won the Premier League and they can't fork out for Timo Werner, it might be the case that every major elite club in the world can't do that as well. We know that Real Madrid, they've offloaded Hakimi, who's one of the best right-backs. He was amazing. I don't mind. We thought that he could possibly stay at Madrid, but they couldn't keep him. They needed to sell. So I'm not sure if Pogba does go. Personally, I'm not sure if Pogba does go, but I want to talk to you about the transfer window anyway. Chelsea have done their business very, very early. Timo Werner, they've got Ziyech from Ajax, and it looks like they're looking at Kai Havertz, another top midfielder that a lot of big teams are linked to. What do you make of their transfer dealing so far?
It's interesting. I think they've obviously sort of looked for a certain type of player, and not just in terms of going forward, but age bracket as well. These are young players now, all under the age of 25. One thing the old Chelsea were accused of was maybe their players not having enough legs anymore, getting old. People like Azpilicueta, Alonso, they've now said, okay, let's bring in the young players now. I still feel like they need to sort out the centre-back pairing. I don't think it's good enough to compete with the big boys. And I think it will be an inconsistent Chelsea. It's all well and good buying all these sort of talent going forward, but you can only start 6 of them. So what 6 are going to start? I know United's strongest front 6. I know City's strongest front 6. I know Liverpool's strongest front 6. I mean, Chelsea, it's going to take a while to kind of establish who plays, who doesn't. I mean, does Tammy Abraham get more minutes on the pitch? Does Giroud go? I mean, there was a lot of talk about him going to Inter Milan. He stays. He's scoring. So it's good. Don't get me wrong. I'm jealous about the Timo Werner one. I can't lie. I think he's a fantastic striker. But we know this is the Premier League. German football's good, right? German football's good. Dutch football's good. But this is the Premier League. It's a different league altogether. And I do wonder how they're going to adjust into the league. So I'm not too worried about Chelsea when it comes to competing for the title. I think they'll be there or thereabouts, top 4 again maybe. But in terms of actually challenging and sort of bridging that 30-point gap, that's a lot of points to bridge. I just don't see how they do it yet. Not for me.
Interesting. Well, thank you so much for your views and for joining us. It's been absolutely great to speak to you.
Thank you, guys. I mean, honestly, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I could talk football and Liverpool all day. So anytime you are talking Liverpool, please make sure I'm on. Anytime Man United lose, please make sure I'm on.
No. I'm going to make sure you don't get that call, Eddie. But honestly, it's been a pleasure. You know, it's a pleasure seeing your actual YouTube channel grow as well. I forgot to mention that at the start. Guys, make sure you subscribe to his channel. It's called Boxing Talk with Ade. If you're a boxing fan or even a combat sport fan, make sure you subscribe on there. If you want the most hardcore, raw version of what it feels to be.
Yeah, it's definitely
like
18
fan.
rated, isn't it?
Yes, it is. But definitely click on there, check him out. Big things are going on that channel. And Ade, once again, thank you so much.
And good luck, guys, with your channel as well. I think this is a fantastic idea. Good luck. I'm sure it's going to blossom. I mean, you had DT on. I mean, no, I'm a drop down, but you had DT on earlier. So, I mean, the channel's only going to grow and grow and grow. So good luck with it as well.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Really appreciate it. Thanks, Ade.
Thank you.
Guys, that was Ade Oladipo. Fantastic episode 1 of Box to Box. We have more coming up, so make sure you stay tuned. Like, comment below, and make sure you subscribe. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, guys.